All right, welcome to Fantasy Sports.
Shakalaka, and he's on fire! Woo!
Woo! All right, hey, welcome to Fantasy Sports Addicts Anonymous, broadcasting from Fantasy Purgatory. My name is Tom. I'm a fantasy sports addict.
And my name is Ryan, and I too, the fucking fantasy sports addict.
Woo! All right, so today, Ryan's right. He's on fire. We're talking about the fantasy basketball playoffs. If you're in the fantasy basketball playoffs, they're like, he's on fire.
Hopefully, some of your players get on fire and start raining threes and burning nets and doing flips from the free throw line. I'm looking at
Flips.
you, Zach LaVine, maybe.
Okay, you want Zach LaVine to be doing flips?
I don't know. He might be the only one that could actually pull off a front flip dunk without a trampoline.
Possibly. Right, Aaron Gordon's like too tall, maybe? I don't know.
Too big, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe like Nate Robinson or something, little guy.
Okay.
Imagine someone pulling off a flip like in a dunk contest.
That would be kind of cool. You know what? We might actually see it someday.
We'll find out.
I hope so.
But anyways, that's what we're here. We're talking about. We're talking about fantasy basketball playoffs. The season just ended. Yesterday was the first day of playoffs for most leagues.
Yeah.
And just want to say again, this podcast is brought to you by our good buddy J Money Smooth. Thank you.
J Money Smooth. Yep. When you need somebody to hit the donate button, count on J Money Smooth.
Woo! I gotta say thank you to the Fantasy Devil. I don't know if you guys saw the video that we did, but I gave him my Kids in the Hall poster and to make a deal making the playoffs, and I managed to do pretty good. And
but
also
Ryan,
Bronson,
you love that
Bronson,
poster.
you deserve a thank you as well.
Why?
Even though Bronson was in last place, he was staying really active as I was battling for the playoffs in your Dynasty League, where he was actually like adding and dropping players. And because he didn't lose 9-0, like I managed to squeak into the playoffs. So thank you, Bronson.
Okay. Yeah, yep. That's very good. Yeah, you actually you got into the playoffs based on a matter of tied games, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think he had one more win, one more loss, but I had 2 ties and whatever. Like it was close from 4 to 8th, like only a couple games separating all of us.
Okay. Well, let's before we talk about whose teams, we'll get into that pissing match in a moment. Let's talk about what we've been up to the last week. What has Fantasy Sports Addicts Anonymous been doing?
Well, we've been busy, or fantasy goddamn busy, if you will.
Right. And Ryan improved his microphone situation. He got a new mic cable. Yay, Ryan! And we made a lot of videos. We've made 7, 8 videos in the last week or so that we posted on the YouTube channel.
And let's be honest, like these videos we did, like kind of got a bit slapstick silly with them, trying to have some fun. Like they're not your standard like dry analytics, like here's a spreadsheet, I'm gonna read off stats.
Right.
Like we're dressing ridiculously, like moo-moos, baseball buckets on the heads, no clothes, running around, hooting and hollering.
Well, that's Fantasy Sports Addicts Anonymous for you. We're we're not dried toast wearing a suit talking about sports. I mean, that's boring. So fuck that. I'd rather dress up as a moo lady. So I don't know.
And
This,
you
this
you did
fantasy
make a
Satan guy though.
pretty yeah, I was gonna say you made a pretty damn good fantasy Satan.
That wasn't me. That was fantasy Satan.
Oh, that was okay. I thought that was you, but I guess there's fantasy Satan.
No, yeah. I mean, that was fantasy Satan, dude. I'm a cool guy. I would never use pineapples in such a traumatic fashion for people. Like the pineapple thing, that was. I'm just glad I've never had the pineapple given to myself. Yeah,
Hey, anything's a pineapple if you're brave enough.
I'm not brave enough for any. That for me. No, I'm not brave enough to be made into a fruity beverage, as Satan suggested. Nope.
But other than the videos that we've made and we put out, we've also been drafting a whole hell of a lot.
Too much, in fact. That's what I'm going to talk about.
Is this draft overdose, Tom?
Um,
Can you OD on drafts and teams?
yeah. I mean, as much as I say I'm a draft addict, especially an auction addict, I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm starting to feel sick, like, and not just like sick from missing the dope, but like dope sick from being on the dope.
So
I
just too many. I mean, we've
too many
already found
teams.
ourselves in too many teams and like drafting down near every day.
Oh my God, I'm on overload. I can't now I hear that rankings have been updated and rankings have been changed. No, I'm sorry. Now I have to get into another. I'm all right. Coming up later today, I got a Yahoo Winners Roto League. Okay, but the rankings have changed again. So what am I gonna have to do? I'm gonna have to do a mock draft.
Oh
My eyes are bleeding. I've done so many drafts. I mean, yes, this is draft overload. And speaking of draft overload, we're going to get into that for me for basketball as well. I guess I don't know. I just, it's one of those things when you got the sickness, you can't be mad at anybody but yourself. I mean, you did it to yourself. You're the one doing it to yourself. You're the one that's making the choice to like do that auction draft or do that mock draft. And every time you do it, you just keep doing it and doing it. And you're like, what am I doing?
What are you doing indeed?
Yeah. That's what we've been doing. Drafting, mock drafting, putting out videos. Drink what?
J Money's calling us lightweights.
Yeah. J Money has like 5 side accounts. I don't know how he does it. I can't. I'm getting too old for this. I'm 33 now. This is my 33rd podcast. I don't think I can keep doing this.
Also, like, I mean, let's be honest, like all these mock drafts and it wouldn't be nearly as bad, but we're spending a lot of time like giving other people advice on what to do with their teams, which again, keep them coming. Like we love it. We're not complaining or anything like that. But I mean, when it's one of those things where like, don't make your hobby your job or, something like that. And
well, yeah, right. The job ruins the hobby. I don't know. No, but see, that's the thing. They say you should do what you love. I'm doing what I love. I mean, I don't mind talking about teams and stuff. It's just that when you're talking about somebody else's team, sometimes you forget to like, damn it, I spent 3 hours like, oh, we came to that good trade, but like, yeah, oops, I forgot to set my lineup because I was like, damn. You know what I mean? Like you get so busy talking shop sometimes you're like, oops.
Yeah.
I didn't set my team. Shit.
Right. And when you have so many teams, going on, you got your couple of your home leagues that like you really pay attention to, but like those side accounts, like sometimes they just fly in the wind.
Yep.
Free balling it out there. Woo!
Free balling. They are actually at that point. They are free balling. That's, I guess, normally that has a different connotation, but in fantasy sports, I think free balling is what you call not setting your team. Have we just invented a new term?
Yeah,
All right, that's the new fucked out a window or humped off a
like
stage.
those set it and forget it leagues,
Or free balling.
right? Free balling leagues. Like
There you go. Free
it's
balling.
out there, whatever happens, happens.
Free balling. And I'll be honest, that happened to my side account for hoops. So, but all right. So, I mean, again, let's just stick to the subject. Is there anything else we needed to cover early on here with the what have we been up to?
No, I think we're good. I mean, we can kind of wraps or come back around at the end, kind of a thing.
Give the reach around.
Yep.
All right. How many? Let's talk about playoffs real quick. Since we're talking playoffs, do you happen to have the FSAA league pulled up?
I do not, but I can pull it up real quick.
All right, pull up the FSAA league real fast, and let's
All
run
right,
through this
so
because
give a little feedback of the FSAA league. If people are just joining.
okay, this is our fantasy NBA league that we set up, and right now the consolation bracket. I hate to say it, there's me. I mean, you made it. You made it in. I forgot this was an 8-team. Oh no, you're in a bye because you're fucking out of it too. Okay.
Yeah, no, it's not an 8-team. Like neither one of us made the.
Okay, I was gonna say they changed their shit. All right. I don't know what Yahoo's doing sometimes.
You just gotta scroll down to the standings, like past the matchups and challenges or whatnot. Yeah. And then you can just see the bracket.
Okay. Thank you. All right. So this we should have seen coming. The two quarterfinal bye people, Woot and Joe. And if you haven't ever heard of Woot and Joe are from our home leagues. Those are from those guys are probably our two most senior manager in like any of our leagues. I would say those guys have been around the longest. They've been with us, I don't know, probably 10 years. I don't know, 6 years.
I mean, Woot forever. Yeah, Woot's been there forever.
Joe's
so,
like
yeah, Woot and Joe 1 and 2, like big shocker there.
No, I mean I'm not surprised, and everybody else is sort of like, well, damn. And we told you those guys would fucking rock your shit. That's how Joe and Woot are. They draft these ugly teams, and you're like, that guy's not gonna win, and then he does every year. And yeah, so they're just the kings of winning ugly. I mean, normally you have quite a bit of a rivalry. It used to be more with Woot. Now it's definitely with Joe.
Yeah.
Joe's. I mean, you and Woot, like you've gone back and forth in the past, but like Joe really has a habit of. I mean, like right, you can't even call it a rivalry if somebody doesn't win. You're just getting. I mean, you're Pedro Martinez. You're Pedro Martinez. You're the Yankees.
It out to be.
It is. It quite honestly is. You're Pedro Martinez. He's the Yankees, and he's your daddy.
Joe's my daddy. Well, we're actually playing in one league together, but we'll get to that in a sec. I mean, FSAA league, do we assume that is most likely going to be Joe or Woot? I
would have a hard time betting against them. I mean, the teams that are playing right now in this winners bracket, it's Team GOAT, Team Greatest of All Time, and then We Made It. I don't know. I mean, so that's Mike Foucault is Team Greatest of All Time, and then Bronson was We Made It because he barely made the playoffs. So Bronson and Mike Foucault are playing right now, and whoever wins between Bronson and Mike Foucault goes on to play Woot. And the Shiva and Frizzle Fried, that's Everett, our boy Everett, and of course J Money, Frizzle Fried. So Everett and J Money, whoever wins in that situation goes on to face Joe, and good luck to our FSAA guys. Yeah, because you're going against Joe and Woot, and like honestly, I would not be surprised to see a Joe Woot showdown, right? I wouldn't.
I hope so. I really do. Like, especially being, the FSAA league where you brought all of our fans, viewers, fellow addicts, whatever, and
And
like, yeah, it sucks.
a couple of ringers from our leagues, right?
Yeah, it sucks that neither one of us, made the
Well,
playoffs. But again, I don't feel bad about that. Like if it was a
no.
public league and whatever, and we didn't go
Well,
in there talking all this shit either.
we
Like,
didn't. Well, the other thing is this was at the peak of basketball season after we'd given away every strategy we had, every player we liked. So, like, I mean, you and I were literally like, wow, okay, we're not getting any players we like.
well, and I also had like
Right.
a middle pick telling everybody who I like and my strategies, and like again, I just didn't get any of the players that came to me. Like my FSAA team, like I have players on that I don't have on any of my other teams just
Oh,
because
yeah.
I didn't get any of my guys. And like I expected that. Maybe I needed to reach more to make sure the guys I got the whole know your league, draft accordingly.
Well, we didn't know our league. That was the thing. That was the thing. A lot of these players we've never played against before. But
Right. But
I
we
mean, look
knew
who's
we knew that they knew who we liked.
right. I mean, I love these playoffs. I love who's in this playoffs. Like this is probably the best of FSAA, at least in basketball right now. So I like that. Good job, everybody. Good luck. Mike, Bronson, Justin, and
There you go
of
on
course
that.
Everett.
I still think we should have done it as an auction. We got to do an auction one next year.
We'll do auction next year. We tried to get it to be an auction league, but nobody wanted to.
There a couple people did, but majority they were too scared.
Too scared. I don't know.
Hard.
That's just not familiar with the format, perhaps.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's be reasonable. Now that like Mike, Mike was a big auction fan, and as we've done so many more auction drafts and auction mock, especially as the season started this year, right? I think people are more comfortable, more familiar with the format. They've just sort of like jumped on the website like the rest of us, like, oh, we're doing a draft. Okay, crap, let's mock draft. So let's talk turkey here. I mean, how many teams did you make the playoffs, or are you competing for a title in, like, including rotisserie leagues?
Okay, so
Both accounts, by the way, both accounts.
My main account, 6 for 8. I'm in the playoffs. I already mentioned that I didn't make it in the FSAA league, so
Okay,
that's one thing.
How many dynasty leagues does this include, by the way?
1, 2, 3.
Okay, and how many of your dynasty leagues are you in the playoffs?
All of them.
Okay, so 3 dynasty teams and 3 public teams or what?
Yeah.
Okay, so a total of 6 of 8 teams, 3 dynasty, 3 public. Okay, good mix, right?
Yeah. So the FSAA I didn't make it. The only other one I didn't make it was, I don't know, this may have been our third draft of the night. The second night we were going crazy, and then by that time I was already drunk, and I took Rudy Gobert with my first pick in that league. I was smashing him the whole. I was drunk and cocky. It's like, whatever, I can draft Rudy Gobert, still win this shit, and yeah.
You violated our own do not draft rule.
Yeah, we might need a do not draft while intoxicated rule.
But that's no fun. I mean, I don't know. Even me, who doesn't drink while I draft anymore, yeah, that's still no fun. I mean, although I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I'm even any more focused.
I'm in first place in my winners league.
Okay.
So I'm happy about that. I got the bye week. Pretty hands down. I don't know. I'm just kicking ass in it.
All right. Well, we don't need a ton of detail. That's more looking for numbers. Nobody really wants to hear about how everybody else. They don't want to hear how your league
I was first in the winners league.
Okay. That's not. We don't need to talk about it that in depth.
Okay, and then real quickly, side accounts. I'm 7 for 7.
Okay.
My roto teams, I'm still competing third or fourth with lots of games behind. But yeah, I'm kicking ass.
Okay. Yeah, I'm running a little under 500. I'm like 45% here, 40%. 3 of my 8 teams on my main account. I believe that includes 2 rotisserie and one of those is a head-to-head league where I used your punting strategy. And on the side account, this was free balling. My side account free balled itself. Okay. Like I literally, like after I drafted those teams, I think I played them for like 2 weeks, maybe. And then like, yeah, sorry, free balling. Um, and half of those teams are in the playoffs or first place in a roto league. So that's for free balling. I'm not going to complain. That's not bad.
That's not bad for free balling.
Now let's talk. All right, side accounts, right? Like I think probably we're surprised some of our novelty teams, joke strategy teams that we did. The
Well,
novelty teams are doing very
we
well.
each did a novelty team. You did your all world team, and I did the Billy Hoyle team, the all white team.
Right. And both of those teams are kicking ass and they're just killing you with efficiency somehow. And
I
I
mean,
also
I wouldn't say I'm kicking ass. Like I'm in like 5th place, I think.
I'm
Still
kicking
have a
ass.
good record overall, and
Okay, I
maybe I'll win. It did about as good as I thought. Like I was surprised I was able to draft as well as I did for a Billy Hoyle team.
okay. Do you want to is it odd to run through those teams right now?
Yeah, it's going to drag on too long. We
Okay.
have our videos. If you're interested, you can go back and watch those.
Go look for the Billy Hoyle team, the Billy Hoyle draft strategy and the Billy and the mine was the all world strategy,
Right.
all world team. I literally didn't make a move in that league all year. And it's one of the best teams in the league. And it's like just ridiculous. I mean, I think it's literally all foreign, all international players. And like every one of them has had massive. Now there was some where I got lucky, like Kristaps Porzingis got incredibly lucky there, right? Right? Like, I mean, that was
Me too with my all white team.
okay. So, probably Kristaps Porzingis is that like great equalizer in terms of especially for me without a single move being made all season. Jesus.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
all right. So I guess, my problem though was I didn't, I hate to say it. I missed the first part of our active competitive victorious. I'll still have some victorious in there and I have some competitive in there, but I'd have less competitive and I have less chances at victorious because of
You
missing
weren't active.
I weren't as active as if I had been more active again, especially on these side accounts, it would have been a different story. Because I was like, wow, this team's really good. Why is it not in the playoffs? Oh, I didn't play it, So that's,
I mean, you can only free ball so much and make it into the playoffs.
So I would say just again, just as a lesson, don't overwhelm yourself. Don't bite off more than you can chew, even if you're an addict. I mean, I know J Money is laughing at us and calling us lightweights, but I guess maybe my tolerance isn't as high as it used to be. I'm getting older now.
We're getting old.
Yeah. I mean, right? That's why I was going to title this podcast originally, The Age at Which You Should Stop Drafting 16 Fantasy Basketball Teams. But that's too long of a title. So we just called it the 2016 Fantasy Basketball Playoffs.
Fair enough. We're in the playoffs. Like what do you do when your team's in the playoffs? Like maybe you're not the first place team steamrolling the league and gonna do cartwheels to the finish line. Like, what do you do if you're middle seed fighting? Maybe you're the underdog.
Well, first of all, you want to see how many moves you have per week. I think it's standard public leagues, it's 4 moves a week or something like that. If you're in a league where there's no max moves, start streaming like crazy, especially if you have like just guys that don't matter on your roster or guys that aren't doing anything for you. Or they're, maybe out a few weeks, that sort of thing. I mean, this is the time when you get aggressive with your roster. If there's like a guy that don't be like hoping for a guy that's going to be there in the championship round right now. Especially if he's a fringe guy. If it's like, I don't know. I mean, I really don't know. I can't think of anybody that's injured that you might be waiting for in a championship round.
Like Conley, I mean,
Well, he's
there's
not. I
probably
mean,
even better stuff than that. That's even a little more questionable. I mean, Pau Gasol, like, fuck it, I can see you dropping him if you have to, and especially if you're in a league without an IL slot. Like, yeah, you might not be able to win the next week if you don't have them and your
but
competitor
no.
picks them up.
But that's the thing is, depending on the max moves, if nothing else, you got open roster space that you can just pick up a new guy every day and start trying to slam stat
One
categories.
thing I want to mention, like, it's a little late now, but maybe you got a bye week and you're not using all your moves or you're playing an inactive team. You can
Box
do
out.
that pick on the ad on Sunday and it'll count. The move will make it on Monday, but it won't count for your weekly moves.
So what you're saying is when you're building for the next week and you've got a bye week, make those moves either Sunday night or during the week now, so it doesn't count for your moves next week. So you have more moves to make next week.
Yeah, you can do one or two moves, and that won't count against your next week's total moves. So
don't let your bye week be a total waste. Right? Like if you let your bye week just go to waste sitting there and being inactive, you're still competitive in your bye week, you're still active. That makes sense. What about like Roto? Say you got a Roto league, you're making that push for, color medal territory, like you want your second or your first or whatever, you're making your push. Right? Maybe you haven't maxed out your point guards, or maybe you haven't necessarily, you've done a lot of point guard work this season, but your front court stats, you go look at the standings and the overall sorted rankings, you go see how, like, okay, well, if I make a push in rebounds or if I make a push in field goal percentage, so you stop playing your guards, your guys that turn the ball over, your guys that don't shoot for high percentage, and you start playing more front court because you got games played left. Hey, max out your games played. And you can go one game over. Is that not correct, I believe?
Well, for a situation where, like, okay, we got two utility slots, but you only got one game left. If you play two players in the utility slot, you'll get both counts, both stats.
It's a little Yahoo.
So you can technically, like, max out +1, but only for, like, the two centers or two utilities,
Right.
So that might be something to kind of pay attention to. But yeah, like, just look and see which stats you might be able to pick up and just add those players. Like, I mean, it's not that hard, but again, it just takes that little bit of homework.
Well, speaking of homework, right? This is like if you're streaming and you're picking up players as you go and just, trying to max out games played or whatever it is. This is the kind of time of year you might want to jump on Twitter or just anywhere you get like daily fantasy news, because you're going to hear like, okay, so-and-so is out tonight, or so-and-so is going to be out the next couple of nights, and here's the replacement. Like, you get a lot of like quick tips, like more than you're going to get through Yahoo or ESPN or most, fantasy
so
news
much
sites.
More real time.
Yeah, especially because it's Twitter. So, I mean,
like,
if you want to make a quick
Pop
move,
decided to rest Popovich and Ginobili. Well, okay, Patty Mills might have a decent game.
Right.
I need a point guard. I need some assists, like maybe a 3 or 2.
Right. So that's a good place. Pay attention to the daily fantasy stuff right now. It's helpful. Now.
Yeah, so we got Joe on here. He's complaining about his teams getting destroyed by injuries.
Yeah, this is that time of year, especially like if it's a head-to-head league and your team just like craps out on you and falls apart. That's like kind of the shitty thing that happens in head-to-head leagues, where that won't necessarily break you in Roto, which is, I don't know, maybe a reason to play Roto over head-to-head.
Yeah, and like Joe says, that's the risk. Like, he knows with the players he likes to draft and get, like, he has that. But yeah, again, I'll never count Joe out regardless of the injuries. Like, he'll pull a fucking triple-double out of a hat or something.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the active portion. Speaking of active, are there any players that really, like, might be out there on the free agent list or overlooked right now. Like we got, the whole situation in Memphis is kind of broken.
Right, that's the main thing. Like Conley's out. They got a whole bunch of kind of injuries. So even more than just streams, like some players that will be useful for you, like what Ray McCollum.
Yeah, Ray McCallum,
Like
I don't know. Not
yeah,
It's not like CJ McCollum, but Ray Callum. I don't know. We're pronouncing all these names wrong, Ryan. Just so you know. Hey, and so you don't have to say it in the YouTube comments. Thanks. Beat you to it. First, Lance will make you dance. He was out last night, but he'll still put some Lance in your pants.
yeah. Was it Josh Richardson from Miami? Just had a huge game, but he's almost more of just like a streaming type. Biombo as well. I
Okay.
mean, stat specialist. You need to pick up some blocks. So I mean, again, it's just about knowing what you need and what you're going for.
Well, there might still be like a Shelvin Mack out there. There could be.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, if you need threes, right? Channing Frye's he's getting some run with Cleveland right now.
Yeah, especially, getting that out of your power forward center spot. Like, same thing with Daryl Arthur from Denver. If you had both of those guys and they're playing your center spot, that might get you 5, 6 3-pointers out of your center spots without costing you, a shooting guard or four that might get you one,
Makes sense. But yeah, I mean, there's probably overlooked players too. There's probably those are like hot ads kind of thing. Like, ooh, who's everybody picking up? But there's probably something that people overlook too. Like, especially if it's just a public league, go check the free agent wire and go make sure somebody didn't forget to pick up Alex Len or Devin Booker or just any one of these more recent hot players that. Right, I mean, you'd be surprised. You go look why is he available? Who fucked
Well,
that
yeah,
up?
especially a public league, if there's, half or a third of the league is dead, and then maybe the top teams that are active, they have a good enough team where they're not even really really surprised, a player that maybe was injured, but then he came back.
Right. They're beyond just the hot ads. Just be thorough. Go look who's in the free agent pool. There's bound to be something out there. I mean,
Yeah, Joe's mentioning he just added Michael Beasley, and he's been good. I know he's been firing up a whole bunch of shots on Houston.
Right.
But I just hate Beasley. I mean, number 2 overall pick, total buzz. Suns brought him in here, and dude just looked like he was stoned all the time. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I don't know. I don't like Beasley. And again, he's putting up numbers, and if you're going to add him for a day and drop him again, that's fine.
Well, yeah, that's
just
hot
being
moves,
active, especially if you activated Brandon Knight from the disabled list, and he goes 1 for 11. My field goal percentage is dog shit, so I'm just going to go ahead and that I don't care about what their field goal percentages are.
Right. We've got a bracket situation brewing. That's what's going on this week. It's the start of March Madness, and there has been a bracket proposed in our leagues. And I gotta say, this came from a very unlikely source.
What source is that?
Nathan. Reverend Nate Dogg. Nate Dogg is a baseball fan, and he wanted to know about doing a draft pool. And so now we're doing a draft pool. Okay.
Honestly, I'm just throwing darts at the draft pool, the March Madness. Basically, it's okay, these guys got the projected top drafts, players. So I'm gonna go with them. I mean, obviously you got your Kansas and Kentucky and UCLA,
Okay.
but I just don't pay close enough attention to college.
Well, I can't get into Nathan's bracket. I don't know what's going on here.
Well, there'll be time and we'll be able to figure out. Another thing we got kind of going on is Yahoo's doing these like the Golden Cups daily tournaments kind of a thing.
Right.
So based on how you finished in your league, you can jump into one of these tournaments, and then if you win that one, you can give out prize. But I mean, that's going to be something that's kind of fun to do, especially since like we can't actually do daily leagues in Arizona.
When I looked and saw that we could play for money and like win because we won, okay, I was like, whoa, we can play. It's legal in all 50 states. Woo! That's amazing. So, right?
Yeah, I mean, so we're looking forward to that.
Okay, I'm going to go back here. Just let me help everybody out. If you want to join a March Madness tournament bracket before the thing starts, the pool ID number on Yahoo is 92865. 928.
What was that again?
92865, right? You just join a pool. Pool ID 92865. The password is Trout, all lowercase letters, as in Mike Trout, TROUT.
All right, that's easy enough.
Join pool
Speaking of
92865.
joining pools and all this, we kind of forgot to mention we still have our FSAA baseball leagues that we're still accepting invites for.
Yeah, we're trying to draft that this Saturday. So, you want to get into a
I know
roto
Joe's
auction,
down.
or-
We still gotta get Joe into the league. Kevin's in. Did Jay Money get in those leagues?
I don't know. He's got 1,000 teams. I don't know. Hopefully, one of those is his team. Well, yes. If you haven't joined the FSAA league, go ahead and do so now. We obviously mentioned them here in the podcast for basketball. So, is there any chat on the YouTube page? Anything we need to?
Just some Michael Beasley shit talking and
Okay.
Joe saying that he's going to have career games just because he's going against me, and that's the way it happens when I'm playing Joe. You get fucking scrubs like Beasley getting triple doubles.
Right. Well, I was gonna say, in order for it to be a rivalry, one it has to be two-sided. There has to be two teams winning back and forth. But you keep getting fucked out a window.
All right, you know what? I'm gonna go back and look at find Joe versus me or head-to-head totals, especially in the playoffs, and just see where we stand.
Okay, let's get a medal count or a fuck over count, and we'll post that on the fantasysportsaddicts.com website.
Okay, well, I'll do that sometime when I'm bored.
Okay, one last thing to talk about. We're doing a winners league tonight. I'm in it. Ryan's not. Ryan wasn't a winner last year. That's why he had all of those angry videos and threw up into a bubblegum bucket.
Yeah.
That was a rough day for you. You got cut up.
Ball for basketball.
What? Yeah, I think Ryan's internet died again. There goes Ryan's internet.
Well, I got.
The internet's crapping out.
Can you not hear me?
Yeah, your internet's going crazy.
Son of a bitch.
It's all that gameplay in the background. The mic's fine. Mike's fine. I think it's just the PlayStation.
Internet. Yeah.
Well, that's fun. I mean, hopefully we have good luck with that tonight while we're going over the winners league. It will be a winners baseball league. Yay, winners!
That's in just 3 hours.
That's in literally 3 hours. So come back in 3 hours and we're drafting a winners league.
All right. Another thing I want to mention on Twitter, we've been following and kind of chatting with this Joe runs a site, dynastybball.com.
Dynasty
And
basketball.
yeah, Dynasty Basketball. So dynastybball.com. He just started a podcast. That's pretty cool. Check it out. His second podcast ever, and he had Josh Lloyd from Basketball Monster as a guest. Like, how the fuck did that happen? Like, we've had Andrew from Fantasy Aid.
Well, probably could have asked Andrew, or not Andrew, but Josh. I mean, I'm sure we could have, but not that
Yeah,
they
we
would have.
just
I
haven't
mean,
asked.
they had us in their drafts, but I don't know if they take us seriously enough, or we're just a little too slapsticky. I mean, honestly, I thought Josh of all people would have appreciated the song and
Song and dance, yeah.
yeah. I mean, right? I realize he's Australian, but I would assume Monty Python's funny to Australians. Maybe the humor doesn't translate. I don't know.
I think he would.
I would hope.
But speaking of this Jordan and Dynasty B-ball thing, I actually got into the Dynasty B-ball official Dynasty League, and he's actually going to be drafting in a couple of weeks. So just as this season is finishing up, which is kind of odd.
Okay, what kind of is it? What site is this on?
It's on, but I'm not sure if it's going to be an offline draft or if ESPN allows you to draft like this late. It's got to be offline. And
Okay.
like one thing that's kind of interesting about it is, so you got all the players in the pool and you're doing your draft, but let's say it's like middle of the third round. There's nobody really I like at that point. I
Right.
can choose, okay, I want the rookie draft next year and take that instead of a guy. So that's kind of interesting. Like,
Is it just is the third round specific to that
no,
ability or what?
any round wherever, like however many keepers, that's how many picks you are, and wherever you want that pick, you just kind of choose it when it's your turn. But I figure Ben Simmons is probably what a player in a dynasty draft.
I would assume he's an early player. Are you going to get like Ben Simmons and Brandon Ingram instead of known quantities?
I'm not saying I'm going to do that. I'm just saying that's how you do it.
Interesting. What wouldn't Ben Simmons and Brandon Ingram? Well, no, they wouldn't be in the player pool because the draft hasn't happened. So,
right.
Or I would assume.
Again, we're drafting in the couple of weeks.
All right. So, I mean, is there like a minor league roster or how like a
I'm
prospect
not
roster? I don't
again, I think once you do the draft and then he's on his website, he's got like the form post and all that. And I think that's probably where the draft is going to go. Like, I don't know if anybody's ever been part of a slow draft. It's kind of interesting. It gets annoying.
It does.
But it's fun too.
Well, I'm not doing any slow drafting. I got a winner's draft coming up. I got to go do a mock draft. If anybody wants to do a mock baseball draft, we're doing Roto. That's what the situation is tonight. Hit me up on the website, fantasysportsaddicts.com, right? Yep. What else? Are there any questions? Anybody got any questions since we got 5 people checking out this podcast as we do it live?
J Money's just saying Ingram is going to be the better player because he can shoot threes, and that's the NBA right now.
Okay.
But I still like point forwards actually quite a bit.
Well.
And J Money's down to mock. I would mock, but I got to get some time in on the division.
Okay. Well, you play your division. That way you get it out of your system and you're ready to call a broadcast tonight, I'm going to need a little play-by-play and a little, we're going to do this as a meeting, everybody. Like, we're going to do this together. The whole community's drafting this winners team.
We're going to help Tom win a winners league.
It's a rotisserie league, so let's all chip in, let's all roto up. Yeah, no, I'm excited because I don't know.
So
Last
yeah,
year,
you got to do a mock draft just because all the rankings have been updated and have changed.
not that I play rankings at all, but I just I want to know what the competition's thinking, or like how much earlier am I gonna have to reach for a certain player? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So let's check it out. That'll be fun. All right. Well, let's wrap it up. It was a good podcast. Lots of fun.
Yeah, it was. It was fun. I mean, it's good to talk about hoops. Like, as much as we are Seams heads, like I still do love basketball.
Right. Let's see how the playoffs play out. Like
And
I don't
Joe, I'll see you in hell, God damn it.
I was gonna
Fantasy
say
Devil, please allow me to beat Joe. I don't care about any of the other leagues, even winning the leagues. Just let me beat Joe in my league.
okay. Yeah, see, I don't see any red light videos for me in my future since the playoff teams I have are all like standard leagues, nothing real fancy. It's not a dynasty situation. It's not personal.
It's
But you
hard to
guys,
be red light when you're already at the bottom.
I'm not at the bottom. Are you talking about the dynasty leagues?
Yeah.
Well, again, I'm front court heavy. I just wasn't able to make the trades I wanted to make this year. I was busy acquiring pieces and like this is me like blocking you. Now I just got to sort it out. I'll be
Right.
making. I'm waiting to make my trades at the beginning of next season.
I'm not worried about your teams, Tom. Like you got solid teams. You've been rebuilding and you're like right there on the cusp. Thought it was going to happen this year, and unfortunately it didn't.
Well,
But
I was
again, these
still
are, like some of the best leagues with the best managers like we've ever been in.
right. Well, my team's incredibly front court heavy, and I wasn't able to trade for guards that I was expecting I might trade for. So there's always next year. I actually prefer to make trades at the beginning of a season, to be honest.
Yeah,
At least for
especially in a
dynasty.
dynasty where you're like
Yeah.
clearing roster space and upgrading, and
Well, you can even
it's
that's the
fun.
time to trade for that's the time to trade for picks, right? Like instead of this like fighting over tanking and shit like that. Like, hey, J Money, I know you're picking first overall, but like since I'm a crazy fuck, how about I trade you this for your first pick overall? Right? I mean, we've seen
Here's Kawhi Leonard.
woo do crazy things. But yes, yeah. I hope we get to see some red light videos out of this, you and Joe, and that'll be good. All right, Winners League coming up in a little while.
Man, I'm not going to be able to top the last red light video.
Yeah, you are.
The fantasy football championship fell where Joe beat me in his football dynasty league.
Yeah,
I don't know how I'll ever top that one.
you'll find a way. You have to. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. You're gonna have to do it.
I'm more looking forward to a celebration video where the fantasy devil is showering me with champagne.
not
That's
fire.
what I'm hoping for.
I don't know. Yeah, the fantasy devil might have some. I don't know. He might have some reservations about that because you gave away a Kids in the Hall poster, right? And you know the thing about making a deal with the devil. There's always like he wins, dude. There's a trick. There's always a trick up his sleeve. So you think this guy's gonna give you a champagne shower? There's probably like acid in that bottle. I'm just saying. Don't mess with the fantasy Satan. Don't mess with fantasy Satan. Fantasy Satan's not to be trifled with, Ryan. I can't believe you gave away. You loved that poster.
Yeah, but we did steal that bit.
That was a great bit. All right. So, fantasy gods, please grant us the serenity to set our ideal lineups, courage to add drop aggressively, and wisdom to set or make good trades. Yeah, all that. Any more questions out there before we shut this down?
Justin was just trying to find out how to find our FSAA leagues. Again, they're not public; they're private, so we got to send an invite out. So give us your email address. Obviously, Justin, we have yours, so we can just send it out to you.
I'll just send them a link in the
Saturday.
chat.
Yeah.
We'll just post a link in the chat on the webpage too.
Yeah, and honestly, like you got all these questions and all that, like just come to us and like come to our website and chat there. We're always there, and if we're not, Jay Money or Kevin or somebody's there and they can talk and give you advice and help work trades out or whatever.
All right. Yeah. All right, check out our website. As we just said, fantasysportsaddicts.com, which I'm waiting for to load now. It's really slowing down, Ryan. What's going on with this website? Why is our website so slow? What's going on here?
Because we're getting more and more traffic.
We need to upgrade. Might be time to upgrade. Man, all right, slow. And then on Twitter, where it's not so slow, at letter F, letter S, the word double, letter A, at FS double A. Thank you for listening to this podcast, and give it a review on iTunes if you will, or Stitcher. Sign up for the YouTube page, subscribe there, leave us a donation, buy Ryan a beer, buy me some coffee. Speaking of which, time to brew pot of coffee number 4. Woo! That's in 4 hours. Mug. Yes, I've done 4 pot like this. Wow, that's a lot of coffee. Like a pot of coffee an hour. Shit.
All right, so good luck, everybody, in your fantasy basketball playoffs.
We'll keep you up to date. Yeah, mug.
Woo!
Later. I closed the NBA Jam theme, so we don't have that for closing. But that was what you heard at the beginning. NBA Jam. Do 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 do.